Welcome back to CAISTROLOGY, and if you're new here, welcome. My name is Cailin, and today I'm going to be doing your June 2021 horoscopes. Wow, June is a huge month astrologically speaking, guys. We've got a new moon solar eclipse in Gemini, followed closely by the astrological event of the year, and that is the Saturn in Aquarius retro square Uranus in Taurus transit. And to top it off, we've got Mercury retrograde for the first 3 weeks of the month. If you didn't catch my May horoscopes, I strongly suggest that you watch the last few minutes of those, because I will discuss the Mercury retrograde transit for your sign at length. I won't be going over it again this month. If you want to skip the rest of this intro, go right ahead. I've got a timestamp in the description box below. But for the rest of you who are sticking around, just a note on which horoscope to watch. Your ascendant horoscope, otherwise known as your rising sign horoscope, will be the most accurate for you overall. By all means, go ahead and watch your sun and moon horoscopes as well. Your sun will pertain more to your career and your long-term goals, whereas your moon horoscope will be more about your home life, your living circumstances, and your emotional world. So without further ado, let's dive straight into the horoscopes. Hi Scorpio, Sun, Moon, and Risings. Welcome to your June 2021 horoscope. On the 6th of June, we will see both of your ruling planets, Mars and Pluto, in opposition with one another. Mars will be in Cancer in your 9th house, opposing Pluto in Capricorn in your 3rd house. This is a very tense aspect, and this can see you experiencing a clash of your existing belief systems versus cold hard facts and empirical data. So you may be struggling with what you believe to be true of the world and your vision for the future, because this may be at odds with what you can see in your immediate surroundings and what you experience in your day-to-day life. On a different note, this can see you having an argument with your boss or employees over your world beliefs. The 3rd house is really about learning and education and the apprentice stage, whereas the 9th house is all about having mastered a subject and learning it inside and out. You could say that this is like the student versus the master in a sense, and you may be feeling like you are very far away from getting to this stage of mastery, and this can lead you to feel insecure or inadequate about where you are currently at. Also, with this transit, you may be very obsessive about what you can see in front of you. And what I mean by that is you may be very focused on your short-term vision, and you're not able to see the forest for the trees. So this is really about having more faith in your vision for the future and your big dreams and your aspirations. Now, on the 10th of June, there will be a new moon solar eclipse in Gemini at 19 degrees, and it will be conjunct Mercury, which will be retrograde at the time of the eclipse. This will take place in your 8th house, and it will all be squaring Neptune in Pisces in your 5th house. New moon solar eclipses generally bring about some kind of tangible situation into our lives, or a person. Because Mercury will be retrograde, it may be someone who you are already acquainted with. So this new opportunity or new chapter starting in your lives could actually be a new sexual relationship starting with someone who you already know. This love affair is likely to be kept in secret or hidden from other people because it is in the 8th house, so you won't be wanting to share this relationship with other people, especially not just yet. And also, this square to Neptune in your 5th house shows that you want to keep the romance a secret, but it might be quite challenging for you to do so. This person may be someone that you've met through a friend. It may be someone who you used to know or who is a friend but not that close to you. It could be someone that you met online, because Mercury rules your 11th house. It could be someone you met via dating app, or it could even be someone you met at a large scale event such as a party, a concert, a sporting event, or even a casino, which is represented by the square to Neptune in the 5th house. And lastly, it may be someone who you have previously been romantic with, but who you haven't spoken to for quite a while, or you may be estranged with that person. Now, because there will be a square to Neptune, it's likely that you will need to make some kind of sacrifice in order to keep this relationship alive. Maybe this lover of yours lives abroad. Maybe they have a bohemian sort of lifestyle. Maybe you have to make a choice between two or more people that you're dating at the same time. Now, for others of you who are not starting a secret new love affair, your partner, if you're already in a relationship, may have some kind of new stream of income starting in their lives, which will be obviously increasing your combined mutual resources. Or you personally may be making money off of your client services that you offer. This will be something which you started a while ago, which is now returning a profit, or it might be something that your partner started a while ago, which is only now just starting to make money. The way or the nature in which you are making this money could be related to fifth house matters such as writing, creativity, poetry, photography, filmography, and it's not just fifth house matters, which is creativity, it's also Neptunian matters as well. Now, another way that this new moon solar eclipse can play out for you is that you may have some kind of spiritual awakening or experience some kind of sudden healing. And this can be through exploring your creative side or just seeing life through the lens of your child or of children in general. So it's supported by you getting in touch with your creativity more. But because it's a square to Neptune, this might be something which is quite challenging for you to do, or you may have to basically, give up some of your pride in order to get to the level of childlike creativity. And then on the 11th of June, Mars, which is your chart ruler, will enter the sign of Leo, which will be in your 10th house. So with Mars entering your career house for the first time in over 2 years, you will have so much energy and effort to put into your professional life, your public visibility, and also this transit can see you implementing a somewhat ruthless strategy to get to where you want to be or to get what you want in a professional sense. You may experience conflict with your boss, or you may have to go head to head with your boss or someone who is in a position of authority over you. Nonetheless, you'll have a lot of ambition, perhaps even more ambition than you've had in over 2 years. And also you may need to take a big risk when it comes to your work. And I say this because Mars entering your 10th house, which is your career, is also supporting your daily work and your work environment because Mars rules your 6th house, and obviously it rules you as well because Mars is the ruler of Scorpio. Now you may receive a promotion or you may simply take on more responsibility at work. In any case, your public image will have you being seen as someone who is putting a lot of visible effort into your reputation and into your work. You may come across as a little bit argumentative and antagonistic during this period of time, which is about 7 weeks, because Mars is an aggressive planet. And also just watch what you say in the public eye as well, because Mars in Leo can be quite arrogant at the worst of times, but at the best of times, you will be seen as someone who is a very capable leader, very strategic, and someone who should be trusted with more responsibility and more authority. If you are looking at retiring in the near future, you may be having to put a lot more effort to get your ducks in a row to prepare for this transition, but you will have the energy to do so. And also, if you are already retired, you may actually want to start some new initiative and come out of retirement. And this is something that you can absolutely achieve over the next 7 weeks. Now, on the 15th of June, we will see the Saturn in Aquarius retro square Uranus in Taurus transit. We have been under under the energy of this transit since about February this year when we first saw this transit, but the difference this time around is that Saturn will actually be retrograde, which means that the effects will be more intense. We will see this transit take place for a third and final time around the 23rd or the 24th of December this year, depending where you live in the world. So as a Scorpio, this will impact on your home life, your psychological and emotional foundations, and also your relationships with other people. And that's because Saturn is in your 4th house, which is home and your living circumstances and your family as well. And Uranus is in your 7th house, which is all about your one-on-one relationships, whether that's your spouse, your significant other, a business partner, or your second-born child, and also any and all kinds of one-on-one relationships. So I'll break this down by categories. So living circumstances, your family, your significant other, and your business partner, because this transit can manifest in a number of different ways. It really just depends on your own individual chart. And please remember that this is a general reading, so take what applies and leave what doesn't. So let's start with your living circumstances. This transit can see there being pressure on you to commit to some kind of relationship or partnership or even a contract in order to be able to live where you want to live, and more likely for you to be able to continue residing where you are currently living. Also, your current living circumstances may be untenable, but you may need to continue with a contract or a commitment that you made to a person or relationship in order for you to, before you can actually let go of this relationship or break some kind of contract. Just remember that Saturn rules both your 4th house and your 3rd house, because Saturn rules Capricorn and Aquarius. So that's where we see the contracts coming into play. Now, with regard to your parents, if they're still around, they may be putting pressure on you to find a romantic partner and commit to some kind of marriage or long-term relationship. They also may be trying to influence your decision on where you should be living, and it might be to do with whether you should be living in another country or not, because Venus ruled houses are activated in this particular transit. That's not just your 7th house, which is Taurus. This is also your 12th house, which is Libra, and the 12th house rules foreign countries. Your parents may be trying to influence your decisions in general when it comes to your romantic relationships. With this particular transit, Scorpio, just remember that it's going to be very, very intense. It's going to be harder and harder for you to maintain certain relationships, and you may be required to stretch yourself quite thin in order to invest further in these relationships. And there can certainly be pushback with your parents or any kind of one-to-one relationship that you're in. Now, if you are married or if you are in a serious relationship or a long-term committed relationship, you or your partner may be at breaking point during this transit. And the nature of fixed sign squares, fixed signs being Aquarius and Taurus, is that it's all about working harder to invest in something or to maintain something. So this does bode well for you continuing this relationship. However, with Saturn being retrograde at the time of this transit taking place, you will have to put in 3 times more effort to make things work. And also with Saturn being retrograde, this is a pivotal moment of change. Something has got to give in this relationship, because it's quite clear that things cannot continue going on as they are if you want this relationship to survive. So this period of time will be all about you guys trying to make it work, trying to invest more in your relationships. You may require some kind of counseling or mediation to get things working once again. And also the breakdown may come from a difference of opinions or long-standing arguments, especially related to your family personally, as in you, Scorpio, not their family. It'll be like issues with your parents or your culture, or it could be arguments or disagreements on children, how to parent, whether you should start a family or not. And also your partner may be wanting a more unconventional relationship, and this may be at odds with how you want your relationship to continue. Nonetheless, this transit is all about compromise. Now, if you are in a business partnership, again, it may be at breaking point and something big may need to change. But again, this does bode well for investing in this relationship further and trying to make a compromise to make ends meet. One of you may be trying to end the relationship, but this can be on account of one of you, more likely them, trying to introduce something new to the business, or even someone new to the business, like a third party. I really do think that you can make things work and resolve these differences in your relationship, but it will require you and your partner to compromise. Also, one of you may be trying to change the contracts in this relationship. You might want to be renegotiating, which is indicated by Saturn ruling your third house. There can certainly be a clash of belief systems here, especially because Venus rules your seventh house, which is relationships, and Venus is currently transiting your ninth house, which is all about your world beliefs and your vision for the future. So that may be where the issues come into play. And lastly, there may be arguments about where you have set up your business physically. It may be that one of you wants to set it up in a foreign country and then the other partner has to compromise. Maybe one of you wants to break lease or renegotiate the lease, or it could just be difficult conversations regarding the actual foundation of your business, which is represented by the fourth house. Now, on the 21st of June, Jupiter will station retrograde in the sign of Pisces in your fifth house. Jupiter entered Pisces about 5 weeks ago in mid-May, and so it's been in your fifth house since then. This retrograde period will see you reflecting on this newfound confidence and creative energy that has just seemed to have come out of nowhere over the last 5 weeks. Jupiter hasn't transited your fifth house for about 12 years. So Jupiter here is a real blessing because it is trining your ascendant sign or your sun or your moon, depending where you have Scorpio in your chart. This is a great time to revisit what you've learned about your hobbies and your passions and what gets you excited about life. Now, on the 24th of June, Venus in Cancer in your ninth house will oppose Pluto in Capricorn in your third house. This can see there being arguments or tension in your one-on-one relationships because Venus is the ruler of your seventh house. Your significant other may be challenging you on your world beliefs and your philosophical and spiritual and religious beliefs, or it could be discord with a business partner over your vision for the future. You may be having disagreements with your second-born child, and in terms of these arguments, generally speaking, it could be about world facts, the truth. The ninth house is all about seeking out the truth, whereas the third house is about looking at empirical data and cold, hard facts. So you could be having disagreements about spiritual matters, religion, politics, foreign countries, world news, or even money, because Venus and Pluto are both connected to wealth and resources. If you are single, you may be obsessing over a love interest at this time, and it could be someone who is a foreigner or someone who is of a different status to you. And what I mean by status is that, you could be a student at university and they may be your professor, and obviously there's a status difference in that relationship, or it could just be someone who you met overseas. Now, lastly, for June, we will have a full moon in Capricorn at 3 degrees, and it is occurring in your third house. This full moon will be making a sextile to Jupiter in Pisces in your fifth house, while the sun will be trining Jupiter in your fifth house. So something will reach a culmination point or completion. Full moons are always about the end of a chapter or something reaching its peak. So given that it is in your third house, you may have successfully completed a website and now it is ready to be launched. This can be received well because it is sextiling Jupiter, which is all about publishing, publications, and also the fifth house is anything that we create. So anything that you've personally created can be circulated and received by a lot of different people. And if you have a new business that you've launched or a new product that you've launched within your existing business, it is a great time to do this. So use that 2-week period from the 25th of June till, about 10 days into July. And also, if you have finished writing some kind of communications piece or prepared a speech to give at some kind of public event, this can be received well. Some of you may be selling a vehicle, and I believe that you'll get a good price on the sale of this vehicle. And also some of you may be finishing up some kind of short study course that you've completed, or you may complete a project for school with a team or with your colleagues, or it could just be a personal project. So Scorpio, that's all I have for you for June 2021. If you enjoyed this horoscope, please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more content from me, please subscribe to CAISTROLOGY. Enjoy June 2021, and I will see you guys next month.